In this tutorial, I'll show you how to create a smooth camera animation as shown here in After Effects. Here I have already added a gradient ramp effect on a solid background. Now let's add some text and enable 3D for that layer. Duplicate the layer and add some more text as well. After done, position the text layers at different locations one by one as shown here. Here I would like to add some circle shapes as well. Enable 3D for those layers as well. Now with no layer selected, select the pen tool, make sure the fill is set to none and enable the stroke with about 8 pixels and draw a line path as shown here. Now let's enable dashes for this line shape layer and increase their size a bit. Now let's create a camera layer and let's create 3 null layers as well. We need to parent the camera layer to the null 1 layer and then parent null 1 to null 2 and finally parent the null 2 layer to null 3 layer. And here let's enable the title action save guides. Here I forgot to enable 3D for all the null layers. Now open null 1 position property. With the help of x and y coordinate values, position the smooth circle right at the center of the composition, just like so. Here the background is being cut off. Now here we need to increase the background size a bit so the background can fill up the composition. Now head back to the null 1 layer, add a keyframe on position property and make sure the circle shape is right at the center of the composition. And then come 2 seconds forward and then position the camera circle shape at the center of the composition, just like so. Now by being on the exact frame, add a keyframe on null 2 position property and then come 2 seconds forward and position the animation circle shape at the center of the composition. Now finally add a keyframe on null 3 position and then come 2 seconds forward and position the After Effects circle shape at the center of the composition. Now here we go. Now let's make the animation smooth by selecting all the keyframes and press F9 to ease the motion. Now let's make this path line a bit curvy. Select the line path layer and grab the pen tool, hold the Alt key and click on this pointer to turn it into a Bezier path. Now do the same with this pointer as well. Now let's add a trim path property for this line shape layer. Set the end value to 0 and add a keyframe at the beginning. And then come 2 seconds forward and increase the end value so it reaches the camera circle shape, just like so. Now just repeat the same process for a few more times until we reach the last circle shape. Now select all the keyframes and press F9 to ease. Here if you look at it, it is not a continuous motion. That's because we haven't overlapped the keyframe set. Now by being on the 2-second frame, we need to come 10 frames backward by holding the Control key and by pressing the page up key. And then move these keyframes of null 2 position property 10 frames backward, just like so. Now by being on the last position keyframe of null 2, place your playhead 10 frames backward and then place the null 3 position keyframes backward, just like so. Now we got a continuous smooth animation. Now here we need to align the trim path keyframes with the above keyframes, just like so. Now let's change the camera angle a bit, but before that turn off 3D for the background layer and then set the camera X orientation to something about 30 degrees and open the position property and with the help of upward arrow key position it upwards, just like so. Make sure the smooth circle shape is right at the center of the composition as shown here. Now if you play it, we got a whole different angle which is obviously looking better in 3D perspective. Now let's scale down the text layers a bit so that they can fit in the composition perfectly. And also, rather than placing the text layers flat on the ground, let's add a bit of X rotation for all the text layers, just like so, to make it look more 3D. It's completely optional. So yeah, here we go. I hope you learned something new from this tutorial and thank you so much for watching.